Hello, everybody. This is Healthcare Sucks Plus. That's kind of what we are doing in New Year's. We've always been Healthcare Sucks Plus, but bottom line is we're Healthcare Plus. Our healthcare sucks, my friends. Yeah. It's only about 3 o'clock in the morning here today, so welcome to the Healthcare Sucks Show. Hey, you like that? We'll know. I'll figure it out. It's New Year's, right? With that being said, I wanted to pick up on another thing about what's going on about the Iranians over there and words back and forth and what they did to the embassy and what's going on. I'm going to let you listen to a great military person bomb detective that went through a lot of BS, gave his limbs, and still comes back to give his time. And with that, I want you to listen to this, and then we'll talk about what's going on.
Overseas in the wake of the violent attack on the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. This as Iran taunts President Trump over the violence and Iraqi leaders push to expel U.S. forces from the region. So is a show of military strength our next best move? Here with his expert insight is retired U.S. Marine Corps bomb technician and Fox News contributor Joey Jones. And we always appreciate his
Joey Jones!
Thank you. Good morning.
So a friend of my son actually just found out yesterday that he's with the 82nd Airborne and he's going to be headed to Kuwait as part of this for the next 35 to 45 days. Is this the best answer, increasing our military presence there at this time?
Well, I don't know that you would call it an answer. It's an immediate action or a response, and that's necessary. We trained for this. We planned for it. That's why 100 Marines made it to the embassy pretty quickly. But that's not an answer, and that's not a strategy. That's a tactical decision, not a strategic one. The strategic decision is to understand what is happening in Iraq, who's causing it, is it Iran, and what can we do with the greater problem, which is Iran, and the fact that in terminating the Iran nuclear deal and applying the maximum pressure that President Trump has applied, Iran's going to lash back out. And then how are we going to plan for that, and what are we going to do to balance that moving forward?
Well, here's what President Trump tweeted out about our military. He said, best equipment, finest military in the world on site quickly. But then the Ayatollah responded to something that the president has also said. He's saying the Iranian government, the Iranian nation, and I strongly condemn the U.S.'s malice. That guy, being President Trump, has tweeted that we see Iran responsible for the events in Baghdad. We will respond to Iran. So, obviously that's an expected response from him.
Yeah, if you only look at Twitter and public statements, Iran's never been responsible for anything, yet they're the #1 sponsor of, or state sponsor of terror in the region. So this is what we call posturing. President Trump is letting Iran know that, unlike the previous president, he's not afraid to order strikes and to take military action. And Iran is doing what Iran has continued to do, which is to posture and find ways to be active or reactive. What's important here is to look at, will Iraq become a proxy war with Iran? Will Iran become a proxy war with Russia and China? A lot has happened in the last week, to include military exercises. One thing that President Trump does so well is he incorporates diplomacy in places like economy and trade in with stuff like this. So can he put pressure on China, or put any type of pressure on China through economic trade to not be involved, or to at least be a part of our pressure on Iran? And that's the bigger strategic kind of plan that the Trump administration is trying to enact.
Right, yeah, being the U.S. sanctions that are right now underway against Iran. I talked with a lot of people yesterday in terms of veterans, former military, people that have served over in this region. And it was interesting because I got two different takes. One person would say we need to pull our troops out immediately, and then we have someone else who says, we need to actually show our strengths and increase our presence there. Which side of the aisle do you stand?
Well, for me, it depends on what happens immediately after that, determines how I feel about it. If we put 10,000 troops in Iraq just to wait 10 more years to decide what we're going to do in Iraq and why we're there, and the American people get lackadaisical, they don't demand answers at the polls, and we continue to kind of nurse along the war, then no, I don't want another troop to go there. But if if our government proves to the American people that having at least a contingent there provides for information intelligence that shows that it stops terrorism, it especially stops attacks on our soil, then that's exactly what our military is for, and there shouldn't be an end date to do that. That's a continuous operation to keep our country safe.
Yeah,
the problem is the government hasn't done a good job explaining why we've been in this war in different places for 20 years.
Yeah, that's true. And the final question, because we're out of time, I just wanted your response to some in the mainstream media referring to these protesters who breached the embassy as mourners versus, you know, the proxies that they were.
Yeah, you know, if you mourn someone who has directly attacked us, you're not a mourner, you're a terrorist sympathizer, or you're a part of the enemy. The 100 Marines that deployed to the embassy did not see these people as mourners.
Much for joining us. We appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for your service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Good morning. It is Thursday, January 2nd, 2020. Happening right now at 4 a.m. here on the East Coast of Fox News.
And with that being said, guys, he's the guy that gives a lot. And I think that was very truthful and honest, what's going on. But with that being said,
driver's licenses to illegal immigrants as more local leaders greenlight the policy. Why DHS says that it's time to step in to protect American citizens.
And that was, check out my last video before this. That was about giving out the driver's license. How dangerous it is, guys. Check out the other video. You'll be interested. So anyway, back on subject. My personal beliefs, and you don't have to believe this way, everybody's entitled to their own. I feel as though we have sat around on our hands for a long time. Now we cannot let the dark forces out there, pull us into a WAR. No. Now when the time comes, and it will come eventually, guys, it's pre-told by the Bible, so prophecy is pretty much for real. And if you guys don't believe that, then we didn't have baseball size hail in the last few years. Let's see, we haven't had increase in earthquakes, mega storms, storms of the centuries, like every other week. With that being said, eventually it's going to hit the fan over there. Now, with the Iranians, China, and Russia, I'm going to tell you, we should have, back in the Bush era, stepped in and made some hardcore moves on these people. By Obama waiting, when he could have stepped in and took some action, we have now let them become more powerful. Just like North Korea, and this secret new surprise little weapon that he's going to let us know about. I personally believe that it's A or B. A, it's something from space that they've already got up there, because they're launching stuff into space, and we don't know what's going on up there. 2, and I'm more leading towards 2, China is providing supersonic nuclear weapon technology to North Korea, and they're gonna have it. And they think, everybody thinks right now that's what we're gonna cave to, the fear of that. Well, I want to let you know, brothers and sisters, we've got stuff that will kick butt when time comes. The EMP thing is a threat. Don't kid yourselves. We're more prepared than we've ever been, thanks to the current president. We need to all be more prepared. I personally can't afford EMP shield, but through Marfugel, go over and see him. He's a great guy. Check out his channel. and his stuff. But EMP Shield, I am telling you people, I don't get nothing for this. Period. I'm just telling you it's a good thing, good product. As soon as I can afford it, I will be getting it, guys. Not just for the car, but for the home, both. So with that, I'm going to try to tune in and let's hear what the dark side has to say, and then I'll move on.
Show of 2020 for Fox and Friends First, and we really appreciate you joining us for a brand new year, a brand new decade. Well, we begin with a Fox News alert for you. Tensions are high as the Iran-backed militia withdraws from the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Hundreds of troops deploying to the Middle East after 2 days of clashes. Doug Luzader's live for us in Washington as Democrats slam the president's foreign policy. Good morning, Doug.
Hey, Heather, good morning. The worst of the violence there may be over, but the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad has suspended some public operations, canceling future appointments, and even warning U.S. citizens to avoid even approaching the U.S. Embassy there. And that follows some significant violence there. Iran-backed militia groups breached parts of the compound, part of the outer perimeters, really, setting fires and throwing...
Which, between you and I, come on, guys, what are we lagging on over there? This is a wake-up to take every embassy in every country at this point and barricade it up, improve security, do what you need to do, beef it up big time. Think the difference between teeny weeny beanie weenies and super jumbo size hot dogs at the state fair. Yeah, we need supersize it. Anyway, you're gonna hear from the other side there, what I call the dark people, and you know what the words are. I don't need to put it in there. I'm trying to stay alive a little longer to bring you the truth and what's going on. So here we go.
Projectiles at U.S. forces guarding the facility. President Trump, meantime, has responded by deploying more troops to the Middle East, and he tweeted this: best equipment and finest military in the world on site quickly. But many Democrats have criticized the president over actions in both Iran and Iraq.
I think Donald Trump has proven over and over again that he is the weakest foreign policy president of our lifetime, or my lifetime anyway. And we're seeing this play out in Iran, where basically since day one, he's played into the hands of the hardliners in Iran.
Okay, and while, again, the violence there has subsided for now, the situation was serious enough for U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo to cancel a scheduled trip.
And there you heard it. That's the dark people right there. You know, the powers to be, they sit back and they say they don't want this, they do want this, and they do want to push us into that, guys. So by the current El Presidente doing what he needs to do, he's a thinker. He's got good people telling him good information. So when you sit back and you wonder why these things, we don't know half of what the reasons he makes the decisions he does. With that, I don't always agree, but the alternative that we would have out there right now, we would already be in deep trouble. So with that, I'll leave you tonight, early today. Just be aware of what's going on, guys, because a lot going on. It's just 2020. It's just starting, guys. And I'm not kidding. This is, I think, and I've talked to a lot of my people. This thing's, it's going to happen fast now. Things are going to start moving. Like when the president got in, we've never seen that much action and that much motion from presidency ever in my lifetime. And we're about to see that same kind of movement out there among the weather, among politics, among unrest and uneasiness in the countries, people protesting, people getting violent. things are going to be stepping up a notch. And with that, I also want to give you my 2 cents worth on the election. I'll be very surprised if things don't hit the fan in one way or another before this election even gets technically, we get to vote on it. Mark my word, you guys can hit me back, whether I'm right or wrong, but I'm going to say before that day, when you get to make your little check marks, it's going to be different. So with that, God bless you. Remember, take Jesus in your life. He died for our sins. Oh, Heavenly Father, bless me, all the people that watch me, all their family, all their friends. Bless America. Watch over us. Please give us the armor, the weapons, and the shields we need to defend ourselves, our family, our country, and protect those who cannot protect themselves. With that, God bless you all. And remember, healthcare sucks!